not here all that long ago, in truth.
Doesn't feel like we actually left.
Yeah, I think it was like 10 hours ago. We just finished the North American qualifier. Obviously, SKDC, they made a good comeback. They fell a little bit short, so Method made it through. But now we start the first version of the European qualifier, because there are two. And they'll go into the EU group number 1.
So teams I'm a little bit more familiar with now. You've been carrying me through the NA section so far.
Are you going to carry me now?
Judging by the first game, maybe not.
That's true. We have a relatively still on loan. We'll take a peek at the tournament just to give you guys an update for those of you in Europe who didn't catch some of the North American division. So 3 groups, 1 LAN, 4 teams. European qualifier starts now. U.S. qualifier is already completed. So Luminosity, CLG, Team Liquid, and the winner, which is now Method, complete that group. We start today with EU1 that will join TSM, Navi, Virtus Pro. And whoever wins this one, again, same thing will happen in the group number 2. Fnatic, Envious, Titan already through to that one with the invite spots. Winner of each of those groups go directly to LAN, and then there's a last chance qualifier between the 2 European groups, so it combines all the remaining teams, 6 teams in total, and they'll play it out to get the last spot.
I'm really excited for that Envious Titan matchup. That's going to be the one we're all waiting for, I think, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I think Shox is waiting for that one the most of anyone.
Some blood to be spilled.
Lots of blood. So much blood. So much blood. No, Shox definitely wants to get vengeance on Envious, and obviously we've seen both of those rosters a little bit now since the changes have happened, more so with Envious at IEM just this past weekend, and obviously picking up a win. TSM going down to them, so looking good with the new roster already, but we'll look specifically at the bracket now for the European qualifier. Like we said, where we are, we start off immediately into the semifinals, so not a whole lot of action that needs to be played out. Most of it's already been taken care of. And tonight we start with Mouse Torpedo. Second game, Hellraisers Kingwin. But like you said, Torpedo, the first one, we don't know a whole lot about. It is a Swedish roster, new organization.
Yeah, from the reading I've done today, never casted them, never actually watched one of their games. Looking at the players, I'm not overly familiar with them either. But from what I've read, they've done reasonably online. They're kind of a tier 3 team that have some potential to break out. So this first game, you do obviously have to favour Mouse going into it. Obviously, the top of their game right now, broken into the top 10 of Europe. Potentially didn't have the best tournament at IEM, but still, in this matchup, you have to see it as only going one way, really.
I think I agree. No, but there is, of course, the dark horse factor. And the weird thing with Mousesports is there's still inconsistency issues, despite all their roster changes. Obviously, dropping out Nico, which I was a big fan of Nico. I was a little bit disappointed. But bringing in a German-speaking, German-fluent lineup, going back to basics, they've still had issues. They've knocked off some top teams, and they've done very poorly against teams that you would expect them to win. So that does bode well for Torpedo in that sense. But you're right. On paper, I think we both expect the same result.
Yeah. The last time I casted Mousesports was at the Take TV event. Obviously losing that best of 7 in a horrible
Best
fashion.
of 7.
Yeah.
Like, let's just play every map. We'll just pick the order.
That was the last time
ridiculous.
I casted them, and they started off really well, and then just went horribly wrong for them. And obviously, like you said, some consistency issues there perhaps. Not being able to perform into the big games, the pressure when it's applied. But this is not one of those games for them, at least.
No, absolutely not. And then, of course, when we move into the second one, we're going to look at the Vulcan picks in just a second. We're moving into the second game. That's where things could get interesting because it might go to a best of 3 in that one. Your team first. Please explain.
So, next, my shot caller. In my opinion, one of the best fraggers in the world right now. He's really stepped up his game. Really exciting to watch. Very explosive player. Same with Chris J as well. I think he can be one of the most formidable scout/all players. You never know when he's going to get his team back into the round. It's really crazy to watch him sometimes. Amazing movement. Going further into that, I've really kind of stacked it with the top teams. I haven't really experimented with the Torpedo guys at all, just because I'm not aware of who they are really. Moving down.
You went for Mo. This could be interesting. I didn't go for Mo.
See, look how cheap Rain is, man. I think Rain's an amazing player. I don't know how he's got through under $1,000, but that's why I've got Rain in. Makaleli as well. I think since he picked up the main AWP role from Fox, he's stepped up his game a lot. He's actually finding some form again.
You're favoring Hellraisers over Team Kingwin. Because you've got 3 Hellraisers players.
Have I done something wrong again?
I'm just curious. We'll get to mine in a second. I'm just noticing that. That's all.
I'm just trying to pick up players I know are going to perform for me. If it goes all 3 maps, I'm doing well, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? It's all 3 maps. Now, the only thing that you have to consider is that much like our North American, the finals could be tied into this.
Oh, I see.
So if you've gone for Hellraisers to win it, if Hellraisers do, you're in a great spot. If they don't, then I've got you beat because I've actually gone for Team Kingwin to take that one. I assumed it was
just tonight, but maybe.
I know. See, you normally do assume, but that just occurred to me because that could be.
This is the same issue we had yesterday.
Yeah, this could be loose. So,
well, to finish it off, Mo, amazing ult for Hellraisers. He had such a breakout tournament at Take TV. People realised how formidable he can be. Very strong ult play from him. Scream needs no introduction. One of the best fraggers in the world. And
some of the best hair in the world.
Some of the best hair in the world. Challenges us at some stages.
Mm-hmm. I think it's got us beat. So I've actually gone for that as the shot caller. I picked Scream. And the reason I didn't go for Nex, and I agree with you on Nex, I think potentially Nex is more consistent right now, is simply that I expect Mousesports to win in 2. So by giving Scream the extra game, I'm going to pick up some extra points by having him as the shot caller. That's the thought process. Sure. Even if TK don't win, then there's still a chance that he'll pick up those points. Then I went for Dennis. Kingwin Dennis, not Mousesports Dennis. They're both in this. Dennis lately is, for me, has been a player. Now, he was also a value pick for me. He was just filling out the roster. I've got a lot of salary left over as well, if you look at it. Because you went for Mo. I didn't actually elect to go for him. But I figure Dennis is usually fairly consistent. He hasn't come back to his old self quite yet, but he's brought in definitely some potential in closing out rounds. Michael Aley is my opera that I've picked up to be, again, formidable. I don't know if you want to call him. I don't think he'll be a breakout for me, but I think he'll be fairly straightforward. The one that you said you went for was Rain for super good value, and that could be a toss-up. For me, Rain, I'm not convinced on his consistency.
I think he's a really good clutcher. That's why I think he can get me some points. He's really good in 1vx situations. That's why I like him. He's very good at entry fragging as well. He's normally an anchor on positions, especially like maps like Dust2. He'll hold long by himself. Very good at getting those first frags on the board, so that's why I actually rated it. I think just the value we got him for, that was ridiculous. So that's why I got him in.
Yeah, so and the difference is obviously that you went from Mo on esports, Mousesports rather, or Hellraisers. I'm all over the place now. I've lost my graphic, that's why. But no, I didn't. I went toward Kutcher and a second player. I don't even remember who at this point. But Chris J was the interesting pickup as well, going for him. The reason I normally, just to go to give a little bit of strategy on what I normally do, is that Chris J is so aggressive sometimes with the op on the CT side, and Dennis usually pushes with him, so you're almost guaranteed that one of those players is going to get the trade. So I normally pick up both, counting on one to bail me out if the other doesn't have a great game. Today I didn't. I actually faded off of Dennis, so it'll be interesting to see if it pays
you got
off.
one Dennis in there.
Got one Dennis.
So
I've got 2 ends. See, it's like an upgrade.
That's cool. Wow. I think we're going to take a very short break before we jump into the next game. But first game is Mousesports versus Unleashed. Do we have any little predictions from you?
Torpedo. As they're
Torpedo
now.
That's
I think Mousesports in 2. But once we see the maps, we'll have a better idea.
Cool.
So we'll take that break you were talking about. All right, guys, welcome back. We did say it would be a short break. We're ready now to start game 1 of the European qualifier number 1. And it is Torpedo. It is Mousesports. We don't know the maps, but we're about to find out.
I think we'll be kicking off with Dust2.
Are you cheating?
I am cheating a bit, yeah.
All right. Do you want to tell us how you're cheating?
Because I can see what's going on.
All right. You're in the game already. Cheater.
We're going to find out very shortly anyway. It's not like everyone's on the edge of their seat waiting.
Who's on which side?
We've got Torpedo on the T side.
Torpedo's on the T side. This thing's yelling.
Your music is kicking off.
Apparently, I need to turn this off. There we go. It's gone. We're good. So Torpedo's on the CT side?
No, T side.
T side. So they didn't pick this map. So I'm going to take a gamble and go that Torpedo picks.
You just completely
don't even know the team. I'm going to say they pick Train.
Okay.
That's so totally wrong. There's no way they pick Train. Not against in a million years against Mousesports.
No,
yeah,
that'd be absolutely insane.
Yeah, that'd be ludicrous.
I'd imagine maybe I don't even know where you'd go with this. Maybe a Cash, something like that.
Maybe it could be Cash. It could be it could be something. I mean, Dust2 is interesting that it's going to be that for a pickup. But we'll look at the rosters before we look at the maps. And right now, already we see it. There's Mousesports.
The boys, lovely pictures as well.
Everyone knows them. Yeah, they look fairly recent, except for Gob and Chris J. Who did the white balance on that?
Oh no! Come on, Mr. Photographer. That's not.
All right, I won't. I won't. I did their photos at DSEA Land one year. That was fun.
They were the best ones in my opinion.
You probably don't even know them, do you?
Yeah, I just tried to make you feel better.
Well, we've got the map scores in there as well for them. So like you were saying, Train, it's only 41%, which is a bit surprising, but they are very good on it. Their best statistical map is Cobblestone, and that doesn't surprise me one bit knowing how they play on that map.
Well, the lineup is next. Speedy, Dennis, Chris J, Gobby. Gobby, obviously the in-game leader. He's been
revered as of late, yeah.
A lot of people speculating he's the world's best in-game tactical leader.
Man, that changes every month, though, doesn't it?
I know it does. Like, it was existence for about 6 months, and now...
And then it was Happy, and then it was Pronax, and then at the same event, DreamHack Tour, they both weren't calling. Wow. And everyone was like, oh, maybe we were wrong. So, but Gabi, I agree. He's gotten some praise.
Yeah, a lot of praise. But let's take a look at the Torpedo boys. And we know you know a lot about this team, Matt, so why don't you... break it down for us.
I know a lot about these teams. Well, again, we've got some stats on there. Obviously, not as many wins working in their favor as we don't see any maps that jump out. In fact, Overpass a bit of a problem for them, as is Mirage. So, depending on how the picks and bans went, we could see one of those as map 3, knowing that they are up against a fairly depth team in Mousesports, which could be a problem for these guys. I hope they would have banned one of those 2 first. There's a chance that Train went through, 53%, but you said Cash. That's even better. Either way, it's Tease, Darty, Otter, Decent, and Awen.
This is another thing from
Awen? I think it's like Alien with the W.
The early stages of the NA tournament, right? These guys obviously trying to break out, get their names out there. This game, this is just great exposure for the team, right? They can show what they can do, potentially show some of the bigger players they've got on their team as well. I don't see them winning this based on purely not even hearing of the team before, but it's good for them to actually get some recognition and a bit of a spotlight for once. So that's kind of cool in a way.
Yeah,
that's something.
absolutely.
That's an angle I can go with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, getting into these events at any sort of exposure level for a bottom tier team is very important. I mean, look, they're a slightly higher tier team, obviously, and there's a lot more praise behind them right now. But EFrag, you look at what they did at Star Ladder. For them, it was like, oh, if they have a good event and then they make it through groups, they get into the playoff. They have a fairly decent tournament the whole way through. So I mean, it's anything can help for these lower tier teams, specifically if they're looking for sponsorships. Obviously, these guys just got picked up, so this will be one of their first games in the new organization, actually. So that's important.
Interesting stuff. Torpedo, not an organization I've heard of either. Maybe a new org as well, getting his name out there. But
so Inferno did go out for Mousesports. That doesn't surprise me. Overpass, we did say was one of the lower maps for Torpedo. They took it.
Cash.
Yeah, so you called that one.
I knew
Train did get through though.
Well, to be honest, I don't think it's gonna come down to that really. It's gonna be.
I actually prefer that they went for Train over Cobblestone. I wouldn't want to play. I'd rather play Mouse on Train than Cobble.
Well, Dust2 and Cash, obviously, 2 of the best fragging maps, I would say, out of everything you can pick from. You're going purely down to tactics, and maybe you're not a very strategic team. Dust2 and Cash is the best you could have hoped for if you really think you can out-aim the opposition. So this is the best map I think Torpedo could have hoped for in terms of showing their skills off and showing what they can do. But then again, Mousesports have got some of the best fraggers in the world right now. We highlighted on Nex, and he is on absolute fire right now. He is crazy good. So interesting to see how that's going to go down. What's this?
Yeah, this is our chances to win based on either team's performance, and then it's calculated based on their wins and losses on each map. So interestingly enough,
purely statistical.
Right, exactly. Okay. So this is purely statistical. It is 55% Mousesports, 52 on the first map. So theoretically speaking, they should be able to wrap this up in 2. But Train, interestingly enough, favors Torpedo. Although the other thing you have to keep in mind is statistical and also who they've been playing to gather those statistics.
Yeah.
The quality of team that they've seen.
We need more context, actually. I guess when we get to the top teams, it would start to make more sense. But when you're comparing Mousesports to a Tier 3 team, it kind of gets a little bit lost, right?
Right. Lost in translation. But it's definitely a cool way to look at it. And once we get into the Tier 1 guys and start looking at those stats, you can read definitely deeper into it. But we'll look at our first map. It is, again, Dust2 to start things off. Open map. Call it the Puggers map, if you will. It does let the Dark Horse factor definitely play into things. And that means Torpedo, who starts CT side because it's Mouse's choice, could come in right away with a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, maybe if they get a pistol, potentially go 3-0, they may have a chance here. But Mousesports, once they get rolling and players get comfortable, especially Chris J, he's the key factor on this map. His AWP play, and even if they lose a pistol, his scout play is so dangerous. He gets them out of so many situations. They rely on him very heavily. They base the economy around him really as well. So even if he can't get an M4, he'll quite happily pick up a scout as well, as he knows he can do so much work on this map especially. So this will be quite interesting, I think, for him. It'll be quite exciting in a way.
Predictions are coming, though. This is where I want to see what Twitch chat has to say.
Where do you think it's going with? Oh,
well, I think that's pretty obvious on Go Lounge. I don't think anyone's going to go ahead and throw some skins away.
Yeah, you'd be pretty crazy to throw your life savings on a team you've never heard of, really, would you? Unless you're a Swedish player and you know the team very well and maybe seen.
Or unless you're iBuyPower and you rig it.
Yep.
I went
Controversial.
I went there.
It's too soon still, man.
It's been like, since the bans, it's been 8-9 months, and since the day, it's almost been a year since the actual game took place. I think it was last August. If I'm not mistaken. I can't remember when the actual game was. Either way, Twitch chat, you've given slightly more favorable odds to Torpedo, and we thank you for your admiration toward them. You're so kind. But I don't know if this game will be as kind as Mousesports should be able to wrap this one up in 2 in my books.
So I'm going to ask you for a scoreline prediction. First map. Let's just do first map for now. What do you think the score is?
I'm going to go 16-12, just because it's Dust2 and anything can happen, and where they're starting CT side if they can get momentum rolling.
I'm going to say
that's a bold statement to go 16-12.
16-2.
16-2.
Yeah. Even if you start CT side, they're not going to be able to outfrag these guys. Like every clutch situation, they're going to struggle really hard. I'm going to put myself out there and say Mousesports outfragged them every single player across the board. So
I mean, to be fair, I took absolutely no thought process at all when I said 16-12, but I still think I'm going to be right.
You just threw something out there.
Yeah, I did, but I think it's going to be right.
Look at this. We've got little players on the actual game now as well. This is stepping up every single day.
What do you mean?
So now when we switch to each player,
yes, we've got the pictures.
We've got the player pictures there as well. This is getting better and better.
Better and better.
We're just saving it.
That's exactly what he looks like sitting in his gaming chair right now.
That's really cool. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, this is pretty sassy.
So we've got roller coasters, we've got pictures. What else could you want from a CS broadcast?
Better casters.
That is the main thing. That's coming as well. So soon they'll get rid of us and you can get some real people here. But for now, you're stuck with us, and it looks like all the players are on the server, and we will be starting on Dust2. As mentioned before, actually, is it going to be Mousesports starting on CT? It seems like they've swapped over. Well, I think we were speculating before it was going to be the other way around, but Mousesports seem like they will be on the CT side. I would actually prefer them to go T side and just start rolling around and going crazy, but there we go. I don't think it's going to matter too much either way. Just see the players warming up there as well. Matt, you could have a conversation with me on this.
I'm waiting to get into the server so I can also spectate is actually what I'm doing.
Okay.
But I mean, you were talking so beautifully and your voice sounded so good, I just didn't want to interrupt.
I feel a lot better today, actually. After the 5 hours sleep I had, I feel more energized than the cast yesterday.
Well, we're back in your time zone. We're no longer on
I wouldn't go that far.
wavelength.
I woke up at 4 p.m. today. That's hardly my time zone.
It's getting there.
Tomorrow I should be fully reset and at full power. Like the 1 a.m. to 8 a.m. casts were just not my thing. And it says going to bed in the sunshine is not cool. But there we go.
Sunshine typically isn't cool. It's typically warm.
Well, I mean, the 35 degree heat when you're trying to sleep in your face is not cool in the sense of it's not fun. But there we go. Looks like we're actually ready. Thank you for helping me there, Matt. That was really helpful. Let's get into this one then. Mousesports will be starting on the CT side of Dust2. The odds stacked heavily in Mousesports' favour. If Torpedo get the first pistol, potentially could do something a little bit dangerous. Looking at their buy as well, pretty standard stuff. And then 4 sets of armour, 1 utility player, that's going to be decent. And here we go then. Dennis actually pushing up middle, trying to get some intel early on, but they're going to fall back, not commit too heavily to it.
The push it long from Speedy as well, though. He's going to spot up that cave very early, and that's where 3 players are right now for Torpedo. And we'll see if that Torpedo is going to land because they're pushing. And the flash actually hits on Speedy, so they get around the corner before he can do some damage back, and he's firing off a lot of bullets. First blood, it's going to go to Tease, but it might just be a Tease. No, it's not. Gobby goes down immediately after. Darty making that kill, and next, good answer. We talked about his frag potentially. Nails his first shot. They're going to go for the elevator boost. Or are they? So far, just communicating on whether or not it's a possibility. And the gap in the smoke allows Tease to pick up number 2. So Torpedo in this pistol round looking great because Chris J is now gone as well. It's left to just Nex alive. And Nex, Dennis rather, will take down Adder, but it's decent to put him away, and it was a decent round indeed.
Absolutely. So a nice round from Torpedo. Mousesports pushing up middle there, trying to get some intel. You said they had a player push towards Long Cave as well. A long retake coming in for Torpedo. Actually got the first 2 frags as well. It seemed like it could have gone either way. We know how strong Mousesports can be, especially when Nex was alive. I thought there's still a potential here for them to get back into it. But Torpedo closed the round out, but they have a big problem now. Dennis and Nex will be picking up the scouts. Not Chris J this time. Interesting enough, he's going to have a Desert Eagle. But this is where Mousesports are so deadly. This is the round they love to play, and they do so well at it as well. So we can see the T's have 2 MAC-10s. They're going to be 2 scout players, trying to work out where they can get into the map and potentially work out what the CTs are doing. But if they go too slowly, they're going to get shut down and tagged away, peppered by the scouts of Dennis and Nex. There it is, the first tag coming in.
Oh, Chris J. Chris J. 2 now, 3. Chris J. 1, 2, 3, Deeg. I didn't even know it was a thing, and he's just showed off that he's got incredible skill. Bomb's gone down, and like you said, there's also the tag coming out on Decent with the scout. We're staring down the potential eco. And this has to be. He's so low on HP. Dennis closes it out. What a round by Mousesports.
Oh God, you hate to see it happen in such a fashion like that. Like,
no, you'd love to see it happen. That was sexy.
I just feel bad for Torpedo after winning that pistol. There was some hope there. Good start to the game, and then all of a sudden Chris J goes absolutely sick and gets 3 1-digs. You don't see that very often. So amazing stuff from Mousesports, getting themselves right back into this game. T-side will answer back with a force buy of their own. They've got a scout on T's, 4 sets of armor and Tech 9s. Have got some utility to play as well. All 5 players heading towards the B area, potentially just going towards a mid-split. Here's what the standard play to do in this situation is, but Mousesports will be ready. They're stacking 3 players towards that area, and it looks like, yeah, it will be a B split here. Bomb waiting up at B tunnels, 2 guys waiting to pop out middle.
Chris J this time. He's Going to join in on the scouting along with his Deagle. Next is there. Chris is actually going to rotate off very early. Go join Speedy and Gobby over on A. Gobby in the pit. But the grouping is happening in B tunnels right now. Darty, Adder, and Tease want to go out. Smoke's already on the platform. That disallows Dennis's vision. Meanwhile, though, in middle, they start to push through, and it's Next to go down after initially only getting the first trade. So the scout already down on the ground. Picked up as well by Tease, but they're a man down on the T side right now. They're inside that B site, but there's still so much smoke to cover off Dennis's position. By the time they get him, they've already lost all the rest of the manpower, and Chris J's fearless. Why not after that first round? He's already looking at window, tries to go for the jump. Scout doesn't hit it. It's Adder who's picked up an M4, so we're looking at potential back-to-back ecos right now. Bombs down, still a 2 versus 2, and Speedy has to wait at the doors for Gobby to get positioned inside tunnels. Bomb in default, so they'll be able to play this from the platform and inside the boxes, and that scope is hyper-focused on that tunnel. Tease is still holding it, but the M4 might be too much. Speedy might just claw the round back. Nade's going to do big damage, switching to the Tech 9. He just fires as he comes in and closes the angle. It's going to be 2-1 Mousesports.
Yeah, interesting round there. Obviously, very close. Came down to the end in a one-on-one situation. We saw the B split being set up by Torpedo. Actually got a successful kill into middle. A frag, 1-for-1 exchange. Went into the B site as well. Dennis is hiding in that smoke as well. Didn't manage to do anything with it, but ultimately they do convert the round, and it's going to leave the terrorists now potentially on the P250 buy. I don't think they'll be able to do much with this. One flashbang being bought. You'd have to assume they can just use that long spawn perhaps when we go cause some chaos there, but just bailing out together, maybe trying to get a bomb down up short, something like that. That's all they can really do. Dennis will get the AWP at this stage. Chris J staying with the scout as well, and he's going to be going straight into lower B as well, which is an interesting play with the scout, but should work out for him. He's decent, going to run straight into the top.
Next is going to look to mid, lining up for them. He almost picking up an additional kill on the initial peak. It is still 2 for the round. Adder finding Chris J, though, does bring another player down for Mouse, leaving 3 up. Not bad. They can still get away with this and salvage it so long as they keep that op alive, and they will. Very nearly hit by the scout shot that rattled over the left shoulder, but Mousesports holding on 3-1. Torpedo going to have guns back out, and they go immediately for the op. Yeah, in fact, Tease.
He's got a... It's interesting enough that Dennis is going to be keeping the AWP now. We actually see this sometimes with Mousesports. If Chris J's not feeling particularly hot that day of the AWP, he's very vocal about it and won't insist he AWPs like some players will, so they do mix it up a little bit. Tease is going to have a little bit of an answer time here, and that's the first pick going to favor of Dennis, and he takes down the AWPer for Torpedo Gaming, and now they're in a 5-on-4 situation, leaves them in a very difficult
and they're going to leave that op there as well. They don't even go back to pick it up, so they'll stick with the 4 AKs as they try and execute late, but now we're seeing the skill sliding in favor of Mousesport. No surprise there. Chris J takes the M4, the battle at long either way.
And the T's now need to work out what they can do with this map. Spread out, you can see the bomb still towards that T spawn area. 1 minute 10 left on the board. There is time to do things, but it's going to be very difficult. They have got some utility to play with. Could smoke off a certain area. Looks like they're actually opting to go back towards that B area, potentially sending one player out middle perhaps, and then the other guys coming out in B. They're going to have the AWP waiting for them, so it's going to be a very difficult struggle to get into the bomb site, but here we go. They are going for it.
Shot coming through from Chris J, though. Slows down Torpedo. Further still, as they still only have 2 men alive, Adder and Ewian. I assume we're saying that correctly.
Maybe Avian.
It could be Avian. It could be like the...
I don't know how to pronounce their names, but there we go. The first pick onto Mousesports happens. 28 seconds on the clock, and there's another one as well. A chance of getting around on the board here for Torpedo. It's a big clutch, big requirement. Chris J coming in. He's quite low HP as well, but he does answer back, and now it's going to be a 2-on-1 situation.
The nade, yeah, exactly, took down Chris J after that peak, so it did end up being a 1-for-1 trade, and Adder's going to go for the safe plant. The initial aspect, get the bomb down, give them a little bit more chance with economic presence in the next round. He actually pushes through window. Right call, because the second player was coming in from tunnels. If he had won that first exchange, he could have quickly turned the round back. But Gobby, too swift, too sure. It will give Mousesports another. And they're going to go straight on the defuse. They've picked up 2 ops.
So that's when they're going to give it to Chris J now. Chris J and Dennis, this is where it's such a deadly setup. When you have one op towards B, that's locking you down completely. You can have your rifles in middle or towards long. And you can have players like Chris J on the A bomb site. It's so difficult to play against as well. It's really stifling, especially when the T's are struggling with their economy a little bit. They can see they can consider a buy here. There's going to be Galils. They'll be opting to get some equipment instead of the AK. So maybe they have a set piece in mind. That's normally the best thing you can do when you have such little money. You want to utilize the grenades you do have and try and force AWPs into difficult situations.
Look at this aggression. Not to cut you off, but already they're at the top of middle. And that's where they're going to do battle, because Nex is going to win against Tease. Did take damage. In fact, He goes down eventually to Avian, who comes through the lower tunnels. I'm going to go with what you referred to him as. I think that makes more sense. Chris J eating a second nade, though. He was on 20 before that came through the doorway. He's left on 5. And Dennis almost hitting Avian with the pre-aim into the smoke above headshot box, but Gobby holding Catwalk is the man who's going to change the round back in favor of Mousesports. Still low on HP is Chris, and Gobby on 51. It's not done just yet as Avian will get yet another kill. Speedy, though, will wait it long, and waiting long enough indeed, because they've walked through directly into him. It's Avian with the bomb, last one left, and through the doors he meets Gobby, who's rotated from Catwalk and made a heck of a round out of it. 3 kills for him, 5 rounds now for Mouse.
So when you're so confident in your ability and you feel like you're the better players on the server, you have the option to push up middle, you can push into lower B, you can almost do anything you like because you have that confidence factor. You know there's not really that much on the line. If anything goes wrong, you can just fall back to your normal tactics. That's what Mousesports are doing now. It's not really giving too much respect, pushing up, getting initial frags, and it's working for them. There's a little bit of issues in the middle there where they had to fall back from low HP, but ultimately the players did prevail. And it's going to be a fast take from the T's now with the Tech 9s along. Don't think they'll be able to do much of this. They've been absolutely caught out, and the nades are being dropped on their head, and they're going to be stuck there for quite a while now. They need to work out how they're going to get out of the situation.
Speedy at car is going to be looked at because they've already spotted. Nice trade, in fact, as Adder will come back around right after Avian goes down. But there is going to be Gob on top of the platform. Nexus found by Darty, so these pistols doing a fair amount of damage, and more so still is Tease. I'm surprised he won that exchange against Dennis. It does still give the round to Mousesport, but 3 men down. Fortunately, keeping both ops, they'll be able to save a little bit of money, but they're not necessarily out of the woods.
A lot of these rounds are pretty competitive. They're getting a lot of frags on the board. It's coming down to like two players remaining almost every single time for Mousesports. So if Torpedo can maybe use the harder and looser strats and get in faster places and try and force the issue quite quickly, maybe they can get some kills on the board like they just did then. Maybe things are a little bit simpler, but here we go then. The AWP is back out on T's. He got taken down last time. This time he's going towards the B tunnels. Chris J locks him down though pretty efficiently, and that's another 5-on-4 situation in favor of Mousesports. We've seen this time and time again in this series.
Dennis. I love the complexion of this new Mousesports lineup. I keep calling them new. They're not. It's been since around May, I believe, in fact. The start of Pro League when they switched things up.
Yeah.
But they're just so aggressive, and it pays off yet again. They've got the 2-man, make it 1, as we did see a kill come back to Darty. Man advantage. But they get so much information early on, and if they're not punished for it, if a team allows this to go unnoticed or undeterred, then it really gives Mouse such a good mobility style of defense and such a strong dynamic that it's really hard to shut them down.
Yeah, you have to bear in mind, like I said, the confidence factor here. They know they're up against weaker opposition, so they can push into these positions and have the advantage 9 times out of 10, and that's exactly what they're doing. Chris J facing almost every angle. Dennis is facing lower B every single time and making the frag, so why not? It's going to be a 2-on-4 now. Oh, sorry, 3-on-4, and they are going to come out long with the bomb. There's one player waiting towards B tunnels as well.
He lined that flash up for so long and then was just jumping to scout out when they were going to walk through long was Gobby. He put himself on the edge of that shadow, but the trades are dead even in this case. Adder now finds himself left in a 1-on-2, but Dennis is swift. He's rotated over, and again, the 2 ops will survive. And 7-1 now, Mousesports. It's been close, I have to say, in these rounds, but have a hefty lead.
Yeah, 2 apiece for the Orpas there. They are a really pivotal factor into this round, but we can see now the buy is getting weaker and weaker for the T's. They're being forced to kind of get around on the board now, maybe seeing what they can do. I'd say probably want to just try something much faster, do the mid-split straight away.
Next is gone for Doolies.
Why not? He's having a good time.
Yeah, Doolies and an M4.
See Dennis again in lower B. If he gets away with this again, I'm going to be sick.
They do have a guy at upper mid. This is the thing, he can't get away from it.
Yeah.
He gets the kill, but they were already ready for it. They had 2 players waiting at Xbox in middle, so Tease is going to make sure that it's at least a trade, and Darty's going to give them back the advantage. So Torpedo finally a man up and around. Very early, mind you. We'll see if they can capitalize on getting map control. As Chris J and Dennis have bowed out, that's the ops, interestingly enough. We mentioned that they've been staying alive and surviving and long enough to clutch out. They're both down already.
The thing is, Chris J just ran into the long doors and out to T-spawn for no real reason. I think he was just being a little bit silly there. No respect given, as I mentioned before. He wouldn't do that in a normal situation. But needless to say, he's taken down. And for the first time, I think, Torpedo have the series in one of the have the advantage in one of the gun rounds.
Looking to find the shot on Nex and succeeding. So they'll double their advantage up from 1 to 2. As Gobby has to wait on the CT ramp, and correct call. They are coming catwalk. Bombs there as well. That's dropped, but picked up again as Tease gets the trade. They'll rotate Avian back through T-spawn, through CT spawn, and he'll find Speedy walking out the same way his teammate had done before him. And that'll give them the second round.
Not to take anything away from Torpedo, but Dennis is pushing into Lurby every single round of an AWP. And if that for the first time they actually killed him in response, and Chris J ran into the long area.
Look at the buy for the CTs though after losing 1 round.
Yeah,
that's how many kills have been going the way of the terrorists, even still.
You're absolutely right. They are keeping it very competitive in terms of fragging. It has been good exchanges for them. It hasn't been a whitewash every single round. They are keeping up in terms of the skill here. Just haven't been able to close out the rounds. But this should be a round they can take now. Pretty questionable buy from the CT as well. We've got 1 and 4, 1 scout, but we talked about Chris J before being so strong with it. He may get some action here. You can see players hits the first tag up into after, but they're going to be making their way up short, and they need to get up quickly and get a bomb down before the CTs can react.
And the CTs are trying to react in sense because Dennis has come out of B. He's inside middle. But they don't have the information that they're waiting on Catwalk, and Avian's able to get in a very easy position to drop out not only a smoke on top of the platform, making their job easier from Quad, as they go for that wall of smoke, in fact, from Catwalk with 1 on lower. They've also got the Molotov out. And Avian almost caught with his pistol, rather his knife in hand. Next is going to find Tease over top, so the 5-7s are doing the job. Speedy comes back around. It's Avian to drop down, and Torpedo need to find frags now, or this round is going to slip away. They've already lost 1 eco. It's down to decent, 1 versus what was 4, as he finds Chris J and brings it back to Gobby on 34, Speedy and Dennis. But they've got guns now up. They've managed to secure 2 AK-47s, and Decent's left with only the Galil and the Flash. Prohibits him from hitting onto Dennis. It takes him down to 45 HP. As Dennis, or rather, excuse me, Decent stays on 100, but that will be taken back immediately with the headshot from the M4.
Interesting that the T's actually seem like they got owned by their own smokes on the A-bomb side. The CT's actually utilizing better than they did. They were using them as cover, and you can see here, Godby, he opened up the fragging there with the 5-7, and this is where it started to fall down for them. They got themselves in very open positions. The CT's had too much cover for them on the bomb site, and that's a huge round for Mousesports to win. Obviously, they force-balled that one. The scouts and the 5-7s are going to push Torpedo now onto a P250 by a couple of Glocks chucked in as well. Avian has got the Deagle, but taking things very slowly again. The CTs aren't being so audacious this time. They're playing a little bit more tentative, making sure they don't give away the early frags. Perhaps they know the economy is quite weak after giving away about 3 or 4 frags every single round.
Deagle from Avian. Can't match Chris's stellar performance in the second round. As Setch next picking up 2 kills will give the lead heftily the favor of Mousesports. In fact, Dennis now doesn't have the op to push mid, but he'll still go. It's a 3rd kill for his team, potentially a 4th, and it is. To close it out, in fact, a Speedy came in just before that with Decent.
Yeah, pretty simple round for them as well. Looking at the team money, they have the options now. Do they get the Galils out again? A couple of players could get full buys, but it seems like they will be going for the force buy here. There's going to be a couple Galil players chucked into the mix, but they can get an AWP if they want to. Not going to do it. Full rifle setup here. The scout will be staying on Chris J, so they have a little look in there. It's not going to be so dangerous for them, but Dennis, once again, looking like he wants some action in lower B, and they've got to be so wary of this. Surely they're aware the players will be there, but they've got no map control. Otherwise, in B tunnels, you see 1 player towards T-spawn. They're not showing any presence on shore, and that's exactly where the CT is going to be pushing now.
Dennis needs to be punished for that. Fortunately for Torpedo, he is, but look at the damage he's done, because he shot through Avian and actually into Adder as well, so it's 12 and 42 respectively. As a smoke will come out, this allows Next to not only get away from tunnels, but fall back through middle safely and secure the gap that's been created. If Dennis had won that exchange, not only would it have been the 4th time he's worked up middle and gotten a kill early, but it would have completely shut down Torpedo as they look for a late execution on B. They've also fallen off that. They've reconsidered, and now we see them outside A.
Well, they know they spread the CTs pretty thinly. Now, after getting that first pick, the CTs have to work out how they can hold the map, and so it looks like Torpedo opting. They're going to be favored towards the middle and B area, but they're actually being correct there. The CT's got 3 men towards the A-bomb side. It looks like they're going to be going out long, and they'll find 2 men to battle there. So see how this one goes down.
Interesting thing is that they've got 2 men immediately at long, which means they'll get pushed. And with Gob so far on Catwalk, they won't be able to take the second entry, and it all works out. Speedy with 3. As Tease gets back into Gobby, so that opens up Catwalk again. It's down to a 2 versus 2, but the HP is not favorable whatsoever for Torpedo. It's 16 and 12, and 1 bullet will be enough for both. I love how Next just pre-sprays onto the ramp, knowing that shortly he's got to come up, and Avian gets the kill on that, but 10 seconds, he doesn't have the bomb. It's down at long. They know that. I mean, Speedy doesn't even need to take the fight. In fact, he's going to fall all the way off this. I think he might actually go for a late peek.
Yeah, he wants it. He wants to deny the money. And he might actually do it as well. Oh, God, why face that? That's a horrible angle. He got 12 HP, but he survives, and it's going to be okay. So 10 rounds on the board for Mousesports now. Another 1 in their favor. That's going to be 3 in a row for them as well. Tees, again, very struck for money. They can't really get a full buy-in, but they are going to be semi-committing to this. Player staying on 2k. Avian's going to be hit the AK save. He'll invest quite a lot of money into the round as well, but let's see what they can do with this. Looks like all the players heading towards a B rush. All in the Hail Mary play isn't going to pay off for them. Next, opening up the fragging, X at 2. He gets shut down by Avian finally, and they may actually have a chance to get the bomb down now. They left him isolated in the bomb side, but the rotation, the pincer, is coming from the CTs now.
And it's a very quick one as well for Dennis, who's already got a flash out. That makes his shot a lot easier. Second shot successful as well. That's over top of the barrels. That's not quite so easy to hit. And Decent doesn't punish him for it, so he's able to pull out the P250. 3 HP, that's all he needs. Defuse coming. And Torpedo's already got the 2 rounds. You said that they would. They're a long way from the 12 that I randomly suggested they might. It's going to be 11-2 as we head to round 14.
To be fair, you thought they were starting CT when we made those predictions.
I did actually think that, yeah.
I'll let you off this time. But yeah, it looks like they actually have a very decent buy now. I think the fast pushes and the rushes seem to be working out very well for them. So they're actually making frags there and getting entry kills. You see that nice play from Dennis there. Didn't manage to quite get the third little quick scope there, but he does finish him off. Okay, here we go then. Round number 14. T's on the AWP again. Hasn't really been that impactful with it. We can see Chris J is pushing up into middle area again. He just does not care right now, but T's does take down God B, and that's another opening frag for Torpedo. Will they better capitalize this time?
Well, so far, not as much as Chris J takes the role of Dennis. He'll fire through. I love how Dennis just fired a Zeus.
Yeah.
Anticipating the close push in the smoke. I would have lost it if that had worked. And Speedy actually just killed himself.
Interesting. I think he ran for his own Molotov. This is getting a little bit silly now, isn't it? When you hear Zeus is going off and players just pushing up middle randomly, I think they've lost all respect at this stage. And it's very hard to analyze what's going on, Matthew, when that's going on.
You can do your best.
I can do my best, but that is kind of taking the piss a little bit, to use a British term. And they're just rushing around and seeing what they can do. And now you can see it's going to be the final round. Swag 7, shotguns, AWPs, and Tease is actually getting some decent picks now. Last round he got 2 or 3, and I said he wasn't being impactful before, but what a huge frag that is to get. Takes down Dennis and opens up another round for them, potentially get their 4th round on the board. They've actually been very good at getting these opening frags. They just haven't been able to convert the following round after that. But let's see how this one goes down. Avian's going to have some aggression. They've got B on the short, which they do actually win.
And this is looking good for them to pick up potentially another. As once again, 1 loss and Mousesports forced into shotguns. Can't keep guns out, but they've won the 2 ecos we've already seen beforehand. As Tease looks for yet another kill. It's going to be Adder to drop down from Catwalk, and Next says he's preoccupied, can't do anything about it. 11-4. We'll swap it over and see what the CT side will hold for Torpedo.
And what will it hold? They won the pistol.
This was a great freaking round. That was unreal.
We didn't see it on screen, did we? But that is really nice. If you can get 3 1-digs, all headshots as well, that's going to be in a few frag movies to come, I think. What do you think?
I reckon.
Yeah? Maybe you can edit it.
I doubt it.
Fine. Just trying to get you out there.
No, it's fine. I'm good here. But again, I mean, now we can see Torpedo. If they win another pistol, keep in mind they did win that first one. It was the eco that killed the momentum that potentially could have been gained. If they win another pistol and don't get eco'd.
Well, that's the thing. That's so difficult against Mousesports, because they'll force by scouts every single time on the second round, and you're in a world of pain when that happens. So you can see the push will be coming in for Torpedo. They're actually getting some aggression, but it looks like the players will be making their way towards the B area. Dennis doesn't look towards the lower B. Tease opens up the fragging onto Dennis, but he will be responded by Speedy. And now it's a 4-on-4, which does favour the Tees, especially on the pistol round. They can stay together. The CTs have to spread out quite thinly in this situation. You can see that boost over Torpedo.
Yeah, I still like this boost. And the flash is going to come around. He instantly turns back and fires because he knows what that means. So Darty doing good damage to Gobbeat. But meanwhile, Nex has found Avian, and that opens up the B site, so they'll rotate as fast as possible. Bomb already out of middle back through the tunnels, and Nex and Chris J just have to hold them off on the re-entry. And that's going to be easy for Nex when he pushes through the window like that. Second shot as he fades back with the Glock, tears the head off at a third. Nex, what a round, 4 total.
There's my shot caller doing work. Crazy.
Just rub it in some more.
Yeah, that was really, really sick. Look at his control. He got the shot in the back of B platform as well as the entry, a headshot as well. All headshots around the Glock. That was pretty sick stuff. We see him do that a lot, but that was pretty special. Okay then, so Mousesports do take the pistol. T side now, 12 rounds on the board. No real answer back from Torpedo. They're not going to be force buying it, so just take some PT50s, not stacking either bomb side as well. They're sending 3 players towards long, but it's pretty standard at this stage. And Mouse will make their way out there.
Speedy using the SMG. Managing to pick up 1, but the pistol's doing decent damage as we see Darty and Decent contributing each for a kill. As a result, they'll rotate off of Long. We can see it now. They're heading toward Catwalk. That's going to be fairly open when they arrive there as well, too, because they put so much pressure at Long. They need to watch for this flank, though, as it is hot on their heels. And Darty is on them. But he's spotted. Was he spotted in return? I'm not sure that they actually saw him. I'm not sure Mouse saw that when they came back out Catwalk. So he's just going to continue back through T-spawn. Meanwhile, Dennis is doing all the damage, taking down Teased at middle, and it'll open up B-side. It's just left to Darty. And poor Darty has Gobby waiting for him, although not looking in the correct direction. He's able to get a headshot in, but that's all he'll get. It's actually through the edge of the wall, so not even any massive damage.
So Torpedo need to work out how they're going to respond to this. One more round, and they're in touching distance of match points. It seems like they will be going for the full eco hit and going for the long battle of getting a lot of rounds on the board together. So it'll be interesting whether they actually stack a bomb site this time, maybe smoke middle, go towards B. I'd prefer them to do something like that, because now you can see two people crossing, and it allows you just to work out where the other CG is going to be. They're going to get 3 CGs towards Long again, maybe showing a little bit more aggression. Some frags will be exchanged now. Speedy opens it up, and he's going to have responder though. He takes down Speedy, and this could be another one going in favor of Torpedo. They have a good position in the smoke here. It's going to be after trying to find the first flag.
Gobby getting into it, though, with the UMP is able to cancel that thought, so we'll have to hold our tongue that it may go their way, because Torpedo now losing Avian, left with just decent, and he's not too decent. He's on 34, and not only that, Molotov'd off of any attempt of trying to be a nuisance from Catwalk. Dennis just shooting his teammate for the sake of it. Why not next? Enjoy your lack of HP. He still has an op, still staring at Long. It's still only one shot for him to take, and he doesn't even need to, because it's going to be Dennis who will win the round on Catwalk, and it's 2 rounds to go for Mousesports to take the first map in the best of 3.
So Torpedo are going to answer back strongly. They didn't invest their economy. Seen a lot of teams do it in the NA side of this bracket, was forcing up in the second round, not having enough money to go into the first gun round with a decent setup. Torpedo haven't done that. They've got the dual AWPs now. This could be very strong for them, but so have Mousesports. They've got 2 of their own, and they go for a face in middle. They could be in a lot of trouble. Decent getting tagged down, and this could be it now. Mousesports looking very aggressive in the long area.
2 players pushed in for Torpedo toward that pit and spotted, so they fall off accordingly on Mousesports' side. They don't want to take a fight that potentially has consequences that outweigh the rewards, and as such, Gobby and Speedy head back toward middle. Next is going to rotate around now and join them. Meanwhile, Dennis and Chris, they want in toward this B site. That's where Decent's waiting, and he's in the closet, so he's got a very tight angle to hold. It means Avian, who's at the doorway, has to help him, but in helping him, he gives up middle. And with the smoke off on CT, Tease and Adder won't be able to come back through. The entry's working out, but it's actually going to be Torpedo who have the favorable situation. 2 ops left for Mousesports, and they still manage to make it work, but the fire comes back out from Decent from the grave, and he'll burn Nex alive. They'll both be skeletons before this is all over. Chris J now in a 1-on-3. Has bomb. And he's going to take the fight. This is interesting. They may not be expecting this at all. If he can hit this op shot, he'll give himself a chance. And he's also spotted that Adder's there, but the reactions are not that inhuman.
I thought he was going to do it then, another cheeky no-scope or something like that to go absolutely sick, but wasn't meant to be. And you can see here the auto-sniper coming out from Dennis. That's an interesting buy, considering the economic standpoint of the team. But there we go, it's going to happen, and he'll just be looking to find any sort of bloody hand to the door. And CT's balancing their team out with the scout, but here we go, the auto sniper opens up the firing, and he will do some big damage there. Will he actually get the kill? Gets tagged himself, and Avian takes him down, so a good response by him.
That's karma. You're going to pull that gun out and try and get that cheeky with it. You're going to pay at least a little bit of price, and in fact, with his life, he goes down. The many-faced god has one more to work with. Torpedo actually doing a good job here, because Tease is finding every frag possible as they work into B. Bomb's still going to go down. So Mousesports in a good situation where they've got B site under control. The retake is going to have to be swift. 3 players, and they all come from middle. But that means that there's a lot more pressure right now on Gobby, because Speedy's covering off on tunnels. He's not directly in the site to help. He's got to come around, and he's smoked just a little bit. That allows Torpedo to find Gobby, but he did trade the first. And Speedy just has to bait this bomb. Tease needs to hit that shot. They're going to switch it off because he's the one with the kit. So Adder needs to now go forward with the M4. And thankfully, he nails the shot, because he wasn't even, Speedy rather, wasn't even looking for him. He was staring directly at the defuse.
Yeah, it could have got a little bit awkward with that. Had he found even one frag, it would have been almost impossible for him to hold it off. But nice work from them. The auto sniper buy from Mousesports, again, shows they may be not trying as hard as they should be. But there we go. They're going to be getting Tech 9s. Not investing everything into this. A couple of Deagle players as well with armor. Just having a look at their cash. They are saving it. A couple of rounds lost for them means they will be able to buy next round. So they're going to be aggressive out long once again. But Torpedo opening up the fragging. Next answers back though. Will they be able to do more with this?
Tease getting the nade back into Speedy. Does bring it back to 3 versus 3, but next the deagle. The deagle from Chris J. All the deagles tonight from Mousesports looking so hot. And it's going to give them potentially one more round because another eco. How do they stabilize these to Torpedo? It's not done just yet. Decent will claw back into Dennis. They've got no smoke on the cross either. And Chris, he has to throw the bomb. Nex has caught it, but Nex is also going to go back and take the fight directly to them. It's match point.
Yeah, and I think that may be GG as well, looking at the cash that CTs have available to him.
Why did Nex just throw away an M4 that he could have carried into this round?
Because
Mouse are really just being a little bit
what are you going to say?
odd here.
Odd. Okay, well, they can see.
I like how Speedy's gone for the Krieg as well.
Well, apparently the Krieg is up and coming weapon according to some casters.
High penetration rate, 100% damage against armor.
You're one of them as well,
I'm just trying to justify the meme. Because look what it does. Speedy using it for 2, Speedy using it for 2+1. It's going to be the assist. Turns around, why not use it on his teammate as well? They're really just, as you said, taking the piss.
Oh,
our Mousesports.
good pronunciation.
Thank you. Thanks, mate. That's Australian. God, I can't even get the British if I want to. Avian's waiting inside spawn. Has a scout, but can't find damage. Now does. It's Dennis to go down, thanks to the assist of Speedy already, as we saw that earlier on. Next gets back into it, and it's already being called GG by Adder, as Decent only has the CZ75, and they're going to play whack-a-mole right now as they continue to jump up and down, and so far the fair has been unfriendly. There will be no teddy bears going home with Torpedo, and Speedy closing it with the nade, 16-6.
Yep. Like I said, not really much to analyze. Once the Mousesports got rolling, they just started pushing up middle as their CT side. It's like Torpedo winning the first pistol as well. I thought, okay, there's some chance here, but as we said before, it's so deadly going up against Mousesports in their eco rounds. They get the deagles out, they get the scouts out, and Chris J got their stellar 3-man of the 1 deags. So what can you do against that, really? You can't plan for that, can you?
That was hugely impressive as we look at the scoreboard to see exactly where the results end up. So those of you, again, where we are joining into the European bracket now, you may not have seen the North American. The Blacks line that within the first kills, that's headshots. So in Dennis, we'll look at him, the top of the red. 8 headshots, 23 kills. He leads the way. In fact, Nex slightly better, though, with headshot percentage on 11. And he also had 6 first kills, did Nex, so opening up a lot of space for his team.
Just having a look at the frags on the Torpedo side as well, it's not like they were getting out-fragged everywhere. The rounds were actually very competitive, so they were getting 2 or 3, even 4 kills almost every single round and just weren't converting those into victories. So Tease, we just had a look at there. He got some good first frags on the board as well. He did some very important impact frags there. But your MVP is my man Nex, and leading the way there. You can see he got a lot of frags on the board, 23 kills. Not bad at all.
Well, we'll take a break. We'll come back. It will be on Cash next. Yes. That's where we'll start things off. That's Torpedo's map pick. They'll start on the T side, and we'll see if they can get a response. We'll be right back.
First tag coming in.
Oh, Chris J. Chris J. 2 now, 3. Chris J. 1, 2, 3 deag. I didn't even know it was a thing, and he's just showed off that he's got incredible skill. Bomb's gone down, and like you said, there's also the tag coming out on Decent with the scout. We're staring down the potential eco. And this has to be, he's so low on HP, Dennis closes it out. What a round by Mousesports.
So when you're so confident in your ability and you feel like you're the better players on the server, you have the option to push up middle, you can push into lower B, you can almost do anything you like because you have that confidence factor. You know there's not really that much more needed. They're using them as cover, and you can see here, God B, he opened up the frag in there with the 5-7, and this is where it started to fall down for them. They got themselves in very open positions.
Which means they'll get pushed in with Gob so far in Catwalk. They won't be able to take the second entry, and it all works out. Speedy with 3. As well for Dennis, who's already got a flash out. That makes his shot a lot easier. Second shot successful as well. That's over top of the barrels. That's not quite so easy to hit. And Decent doesn't punish him for it, so he's able to pull out the P250. 3 HP, that's all he needs. Defuse coming.
I can do my best, but they're just kind of taking the piss a little bit, to use the British term. And they're just rushing around and seeing what they can do.
Re-entry, and that's going to be easy for Nex when he pushes through the window like that. Second shot as he fades back with the Glock, tears the head off, and a third on them. But he's spotted. Was he spotted in return? I'm not sure that they actually saw him. I'm not sure Mouse saw that when they came back out Catwalk, so he's just going to continue back through T.